All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel. It is Tuesday, November 4th, year of our Lord 2025, and this is not a drill. I need you to dial in, lock in, because it is getting very serious. Our time has come. I repeat, this is not a drill. Let's begin. All right. Well, hey, I saw a post today. This will be a little bit of a grab bag episode. I've got a few topics to cover. But I did see a very serious, very intentional, thoughtful post from Owen Strawn. And I thought I would talk about it because this is very important, right? This is very important. Owen has something to say, and I think when Owen has something to say, we all need to listen. He says no to the Groypers, no to Nick Fuentes, no to Jew hatred, no to Tucker Carlson's pro-Iran and anti-Israel program, no to wokeness on the right, no to anti-religious liberty voices, no to anti-Constitution influences, and yes to the light of Christ and the power of the gospel. Now, you might be a little bit, I would say you might be sympathetic to this post, because after all, we all know that the Groypers and Nick Fuentes are bad. They're bad people. You know what I mean? And you've got to stand firm against it. But I do want to remind you of the importance of a poem that we all know. We learned it in high school, and we all know it, and we all live by it. It is one of our founding, how do you say it? One of our founding mottos that we need to always be on guard. And I am telling you today, this is the moment to be on guard. And I'm going to explain why. You see, first, they came for the Groypers. And I didn't speak up because I wasn't a Groyper. Then they came for Nick Fuentes. And I didn't speak up because I don't watch Nick Fuentes. Then they came for the Jew haters. And I didn't speak up because I wasn't a Jew hater. Then they came for Tucker and his pro-Iran and anti-Israel program. And I still didn't speak up because I don't watch Tucker. Then they came for wokeness on the right, and I have to be honest, I didn't speak up, but it was because I was also against wokeness on the right. So, I mean, it made perfect sense to me. But then, my friends, this is where they get you, right? They kind of, it's like the boiling frog, You're not a Groyper, you're not Nick Fuentes, you're not a Jew hater, so you just kind of going along with him, all this kind of stuff. But then they come for you. And you do not want to be in the position where when they come for you, there's no one left to speak up. It's moving. The poem is moving, and it should move you to action, my friends. Action. The time has come. No to anti-religious liberty voices. He's talking about me. He's talking about me. No to anti-religious liberty voices. I'm the guy that said that they should put a stop to the building of temples to Vishnu and, whatever it is they do in Islam. I'm that guy. They're coming for me. Now, you might say to yourself, well, AD, I'm not that guy. I believe in religious liberty. I believe in the right that people have to worship demons publicly and freely and happily. But they might be coming for you next. And you've got to be aware of that. I say the time is now to join the fight, my friends. Speak up now before there's no one left to speak up for yourself. That's my plea. I implore you to speak up now, because today they're coming for AD Robles. Tomorrow, it's going to be whatever your little pet project is. And I don't want to be, there to say I told you so in the gulag. You know what I mean? In the gulag. But, yeah, this is a pretty funny post. I mean, I got to be honest. It's just a ridiculous post. He's so dramatic. Can Owen Strachan be any more dramatic? I really don't think he can. He works hard at it. He's as dramatic as he could possibly be. Very, very, very good. He saw his opportunity. You know, everyone's talking about Tucker and the Groypers and Nick Fuentes, which I don't care. If you want to know my opinion about Tucker Carlson having Nick Fuentes on for a little interview, guess what? I don't care. It's as simple as that. I don't care. I don't watch Tucker Carlson. I'm not about to start now. He had Nick Fuentes on. Big deal. All right. So here's what we're gonna do next. We're gonna talk about EBT again. EBT. This lady on EBT. She's very upset because of her EBT. Her EBT's cut off, so she can't afford, the groceries that she wants to buy. And imagine my surprise. Because this is the day that I found out that I actually am living a life of poverty. Who knew? Let's listen to what she has to say.
Let me tell you something, right? So yesterday I went shopping.
Yeah.
And we go to Walmart.
Yeah. Walmart.
And my kids, they go to the cereal aisle, right?
Okay, cereal aisle, I got it.
They're like, Mom, I want this cereal. I want this cereal. And you know all the cereals to the right or to my right, whatever.
Yeah, cereals.
The ones
right.
in the boxes.
The box
okay.
cereal. Did you hear?
They're
did you hear? Did you hear the little chirping of the smoke detector? Yeah, she's got the chirping smoke detector, so this is a legitimate video.
Let's see.
The box cereal, yeah.
I said nope. I pushed my kids all the way to the front.
Yeah.
Look to the left, and the cereal that's in bags.
Yeah, the bag cereal. It's good.
Yeah, the bag cereal, the old ones from back in the day. They said they don't want those. But guess what? We are in a government shutdown. Bag cereal it is. Bag freaking cereal. Okay? The oatmeal. My kids love oatmeal. But I get the ones with the little flavor and stuff. Nope. We getting the oats that comes in those big, huge container with the little old man on it.
Poor you.
And we're going to make our own flavor. Because there's no way. It's affecting everybody. It's literally affecting everybody.
I mean, this is a tragedy. This is a 5-alarm fire emergency. Listen to this. Get this, guys. Get this. Because of the EBT, the government shut down, EBT canceled everything, which, by the way, like I said, of course it's not getting canceled. I knew that from the beginning, and of course it's still not getting canceled. EBT is forever. We all get that. So I was right, obviously. But because of the EBT, the EBT is going to be a little late this month. It might not get as much as they used to get. Okay. So you get this. She can't buy, Cocoa Pebbles, right? Or Fruity Pebbles or Fruit Loops, right? The name brand with the Toucan Sam. She can't get that. Her kids want that. She can't get it. And think of her children. Think of the poor children who just, they're going without. They've got to get fruit rings instead. They've got to get Cocoa Dino Bites instead of Cocoa Pebbles. Think of the horror. The horror. And even worse, I mean, we're not done yet. You thought that was it. I mean, that's the only hardship that they had. That's enough, right? That's enough hardship for any kid. For any kid. But on top of that, they love oatmeal. I like oatmeal too. A lot of times before I do a big lift, I'll eat some oatmeal, get the carbs flowing, But they normally get the little packets that have the maple brown sugar in them already, right? The maple and then the brown sugar flavor is in the little packet. So you just make it and it has the flavor already. But get this. That's what her kids want. But she's got to get the big bag of oats, or the big container of oats, right? With the old man on it. Quaker oats, Quakers. She's got to get the Quaker oats, make it at home, and then put her own brown sugar in it, her own syrup in it to make the flavor. I mean, what is this world coming to, honestly? What is this world coming to? First of all, people are saying that you should only be able to get meat and vegetables and fruit and rice with your EBT and bread. No candy, you know. Can you imagine the audacity of people to think you should just be able to eat meat with your EBT? Not candy, meat, not soda. Meat and vegetables and rice and potatoes. The audacity of these people. Do they even think they're human? Poor people are humans? Let them eat meat, they say. They don't want meat. They want frozen pizzas. They want frozen pizzas. So how dare you tell them that they get meat? But we're not done yet. You thought we were done? Not only did they have to buy the generic cereal, but also they had to buy regular oats and put the flavor in at home. They have the brown sugar and the flavor. They put it in at home. It gets worse, my friends. It gets much worse. Let's listen to her.
Even the chips. The chips, oh, Mommy, can I get some Doritos and stuff like that? We're getting UTZ. We're getting the Uts. They're like, Mommy, what is this? It's chips. Just the cheap ones we never get. But guess what? We gonna get it. Yep. We going back to this. Yep.
So, no, they can't have... I mean, guys, have some compassion. Have some Christian compassion, right? I mean, do you even follow Jesus? Honestly, do you even follow Jesus? And I know there's a lot of you guys in my audience that think you're all high and mighty, right? You think you're all, righteous, self-righteous, and you look down on the poor people. You say that they're animals. Think about this for a second. How would you like it if your kids wanted to get Ruffles, Pringles, Doritos, but you could only afford Utz? You could only afford Utz. And so you give them the Utz. Think about how that must feel to your kid. They can't have Ruffles. They can have Utz. They can't have Dorito. They can have Utz. I mean, shame on you. I mean, shame on you. She's got the smoke detector beeping in the background. And she's trying to get us to sympathize with her because she has to buy the generic brand. Now, imagine my surprise when I found out that actually all this time I thought I was in a good financial position, but really I'm living a life of poverty. Because we don't get chips very often, but we did get chips the other day. We had a sandwich night, a sandwich night. We made our own sandwiches. We didn't go to Subway. We didn't go to Jersey Mike's or Quiznos. Does that even exist anymore? Quiznos? I don't know. We didn't go to Farmer House gyms or whatever. No, we bought bread and we bought meat and we made our own Italian subs and let's get some chips. Right? We got some chips. And I look at the chips, right? And I don't really have a whole lot of brand loyalty, but I look at the chips and I say, look at the prices of these chips and they're outrageous. I mean, the prices of chips are outrageous right now. And so I grabbed the Utz because, a couple bucks cheaper than the other chips. Still outrageous pricing, but I grabbed the Utz. And we got some Utz chips to have with our homemade Italian subs. I didn't know it at the time. I thought I was just enjoying a bag of chips, which are essentially identical to the other bags of chips, at a little bit of a cheaper price. Some might even prefer Utz. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lot of people out there that prefer Utz. But imagine my surprise when I thought I was just being economical. The difference between Pringles and Utz, or not Pringles, Ruffles and Utz, very minimal, but the price difference is significant. Imagine my surprise that actually what I was doing was depriving my children of a full and happy life. And we're living a life of poverty, right? I mean, not only did we not get a sub sandwich made from another store, for $20, not only did we not get the good stuff that you get at the restaurant, we made it at home, but then we got the poverty chips as well. We got the poverty chips, the Utz brand. Also, I didn't know this, but when I feed my kids oatmeal in the morning, it's poverty oatmeal. You know, we're getting the poverty oatmeal, you know, just the oats, the plain oats. And then we can add some stuff, you know, berries, maybe a little bit of maple syrup, you know, maybe some brown sugar, depending on how spicy you're feeling. That's the poverty oats, right? I was actually, this entire time I thought I was feeding my kids, but really I was depriving them of a full life where you have the pre-sugared, pre-flavored oatmeal in the little packets. That's truly living. Imagine that. When I thought I would just preferred Cocoa Dino Bites to Cocoa Pebbles. But really, I was just depriving my kids of a good life. It's unbelievable, man. She's really trying to get us to feel bad for her because she's got to now be concerned with the pricing of what she's buying. It's just, these people live in a different universe. These people, you people, live in a different planet where it's depriving your humanity to have to bargain shop. Now, let me just clue you in on how the other side lives. I'm not in the 1%, but I'm in the 10% probably. I'm in maybe the 20%. I don't know. I haven't calculated it recently. I mean, these days, you know, everyone's net worth is going up so much that everyone feels rich, even though we're all poorer. But, you know, I don't know, maybe the 10%, 20%, 15%. Let me clue you in on how we live. You know, I mean, maybe this is not everybody. But when I'm out there shopping, right? You know, the price is something that I consider, right? Like, you know, price is what you pay. This is a famous Warren Buffett saying. Value is what you get, right? Famous Warren Buffett saying. But it's simple, but it makes sense, right? Price and value, they're connected, but they don't always make sense, right? Like, sometimes you overpay, and what that means is you pay more than what the value you're getting is, right? And so when I look at 2 bags of chips, I mean, I'm just telling you how we live, right? This is how we live. When you look at 2 bags of chips and the product is essentially identical, right? Maybe there's some slight differences, but essentially the Utz and the Ruffles are basically the same thing. The Lay's, maybe not Ruffles because they're ridged, but I'm sure Utz has a ridged brand. Let's talk about Lay's, right? You get a bag of Lay's, you get a bag of Utz. If you were to blind taste test them, it would be very difficult to decide which is which. They're essentially the same product. And then you look at the price, and there's a $2 difference, let's say, between the 2 bags, right? Because that's, if I'm not mistaken, just the other day, that's what it was. It was like a $2 difference. So the value is the same of the chips. It's the same essential chips. Minor differences, but essentially the same. And the price is very different. And so let me just clue you in on how we live, you know, the other side of this equation. Is we go, the product's essentially the same, minor differences. The price is significantly different. I'm going to go ahead and pay less for essentially the same product. And so I keep the $2 that I didn't spend on Lay's in my pocket. Now you might say, well, that's just $2, right? $2, what's the big deal? Right, but if I do that enough times, by the end of the month, I'm keeping a lot of money in my pocket, and I can do other things with that money if I want to. That's not suffering. That's being intelligent. And so you're complaining that you're being forced to have to make decisions that normal people make every single day that they're alive. This is how it is when you have to actually work for your money. You have to make decisions. That's not suffering. That's life. That's life. If you ever need any inspiration about why EBT has to be gotten rid of at some point. Just go on this channel here. We've got people that are absolutely insane people that are trying to get you to believe all kinds of things that are completely false. I mean, this isn't the most shocking video, but it really does clue you into the mindset here. I mean, she thinks she's suffering because she can't buy Fruit Loops. She has to buy fruit rings. You probably shouldn't be eating this stuff anyway, but that's not suffering. That's not suffering. Wild stuff, man. Wild stuff. It's very, very hard for me to sympathize with this kind of a mindset. Now, I understand that there's lots of different complicated reasons why she's like this and blah, 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 but we got to also bring some reality to this as well. We got to bring some reality to this. One last thing. I wanted to talk a little bit about money because I have a feeling that a lot of people are thinking about money, like the actual, like, fundamental truths about money, more so today than they have in a long time. And that's because of the rising prices, right? Rising prices have gotten a lot of people very concerned and thinking about money, and I'm one of them. I think that's very it's not good. It's not good, right? And the thing is, like, money's value is going down. That's the truth, right? Money's value is being devalued. Money is being debased. And it's happening, in my opinion, intentionally. I think that the decisions that are made by governments, not just our government, but all governments, are intentionally trying to devalue money, essentially. And they do it so that you spend it, right? Because if you're hoarding money, thinking that you're getting ahead, you're not in the economy spending it, and the GDP doesn't go up, right? So what they want you to do is they want you to spend money quickly. They want you to spend it basically as soon as you get it. And one way to do that is to promise, essentially, that if you save it, if you hold on to it, that it's going to be worth less later. So you might as well spend it now, because if you hold on to it, you're going to be able to buy less with the same money. And it's diabolical. I mean, let's just face it. It is diabolical, this plan, but that's essentially the plan. That's essentially the plan. They are telling you, they are telegraphing to you that the dollar that you have today is worth the most it'll ever be worth, so you might as well spend it today, because tomorrow you're going to be able to buy less. A logical person says, okay, well, I guess I better spend it today, and that GDP number goes up. Diabolical. Diabolical. But here's the thing, guys, and that's how it works right now. That's essentially how it works. It doesn't have to work that way, right? I saw a very good video posted by New Founding. I will try to remember to link it in the description of this video. It is a very good video. It's about Bitcoin. Now, you might know a little bit about me. I'm not a Bitcoin fan. I don't own any Bitcoin. I'm not totally against it. I understand what people are doing that are buying Bitcoin. I get it, but I don't buy it because I don't believe in it and all of that. So we can talk about why I don't like Bitcoin maybe some other time. But this video, I'm still recommending this video because the guy in the video understands this whole concept of money. And the currency that we have is designed to get you to consume, to get you to spend and spend and spend, because they are promising you that this $5 that you have, this is what we see as money, is going to be worth much less tomorrow than it is today. So you might as well get rid of it so that GDP number goes up. Now, this money that we use, this is currency. These are debt notes, right? These are debt notes. You might not know that, but it says it right on there. It's a Federal Reserve note. It's a debt, which is kind of weird when you think about it. We're so in love with debt that we actually use it as currency. It's a little strange, right? But it wasn't always that way. And I think one thing that Americans need to really kind of internalize is that these debt notes, there's no like inherent value to them, right? They're just pieces of paper with pictures on them. And the debt is to the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve owes the debt. and they're promising to pay you something by holding this. So when you hold these dollar bills, what you're holding is a promise to pay, and the Federal Reserve is the one promising. And so you might ask, well, what are they promising to pay? Well, I mean, it's complicated, but essentially they're promising to pay $1 worth of debt on something, right? So taxes, for example, is the big one, right? You have to have these in America to pay your taxes. You just have to have them. So they won't take taxes in any other currency. Here's another currency. This is when I got this currency. This is an Ethiopian birr. This is 50 birr, right? It's also a debt note, but it's a debt note to the Ethiopian National Bank of Ethiopia, which is another central bank. When I got this $50 birr note, it was worth about the same as these $5, right? This 50 Ethiopian birr was worth about the same as these $5. And you want to know what it's worth now? Like 30 cents, right? Like 30 cents. And the thing is, in America, since we have the reserve currency, we're used to everybody wanting these, right? You could go anywhere and people want these, right? Because it's the reserve currency. This is how everything's transacted. So everyone recognizes them. Everyone will take them. They're valuable basically everywhere. But it actually doesn't have to be that way. And it might not be that way in the future. I mean, I think probably it will be. But in the future, even though this is going down in value, like the stability of this has been relatively stable, even though the value's going down. In comparison to things like this is very unstable. Right? Like if I go to Ethiopia, I could spend these because people want them. They have to pay their taxes in them, just like we have to pay our taxes with this. But I could also spend these in Ethiopia. They want these for sure because these are better. Yeah, these are actually better than this, right? I mean, that sounds obvious to us, but in Ethiopia, this they'll take it, but this they really want this, right? They really want this. But it doesn't work the other way around. Like nobody wants these unless you live in Ethiopia. If you live in Ethiopia, then these are fine. But if you go anywhere else, like if I were to go to Cumberland Farms down the street and try to buy a Kit Kat bar with this, they would laugh at me and they maybe even call the police, right? But in Ethiopia, which I have done this, I went to a store in Ethiopia and bought a Kit Kat bar, and I handed them some of these, and they were all too happy to take it. But that's not a fundamental law of nature. Like this is not always necessarily going to be the most sought after thing of all time. It is right now, and it probably will be for the future, but I think, honestly, like, people are starting to think this through. Like, what happens when this is looked at like this? I really don't know. I mean, I don't know what happens. Not good, though. I know that much. Here's another thing that'll add a little bit of something to your equation here. Oh, I just dropped it. This is $5 as well. Yeah, I don't know if you can see that. We'll see. Can you see that? $5. That's what this is. This is a $5 piece from 1911. Now, there's a big difference between this and this. Very big difference. This is denominated in $5, right? This is $5 in 1911. This is $5 today. This is about a quarter ounce of gold. Not quite, almost. It's about a quarter ounce of gold. And this is actually what a dollar really is. This is what real $5 actually looks like. Because back in the day, they still had these kinds of things, but they were always convertible. So if I had these $5, I could convert it into this, and that was essentially what this was an IOU for. I said this was an IOU, this is a debt. Well, in the old days, you could say, all right, here's $5, now give me $5, and they would give you this. That's what it was an IOU for. It was convertible to gold. Well, they put a stop to that. They put a stop to that and converted it to a promise to pay, I don't know, something. Something. This $5 piece, I acquired it fairly recently. Today, if I was going to acquire this one today, this would be about $1,000 to buy. This $5 piece is worth about $1,000, and the value is not really because it's a old coin. The value is because of the gold that's inside of it. Quarter ounce of gold, just about $1,000 to buy today. Let that be a little bit of a wake-up call to you about what they're doing with this, right? Because back in the day, this and this were equivalent. Today, it's going to take 1,000 of these to get one of these. This hasn't changed. This is the same thing that it's always been. Gold doesn't change, right? Gold doesn't change. It's the same thing. That's why it's valuable, by the way. And people like to say, well, gold has objective value. And, that's not really true. It has some intrinsic value, but objectively, things are valued, things are not valued objectively. They're valued subjectively, right? So I could sell this for $1,000 today, but only because somebody thinks it's worth $1,000, right? Like, value is subjective. But it does have some properties that are innate to it, that God put into it, right? Like, gold is valuable and it's valued primarily because of its properties, right? I mean, this gold, one of the things that's cool about gold is it doesn't rust, it doesn't corrode, it basically stays as it is. It's like, that's why the Bible talks about gold as almost like eternal. Like, it's got this lasting property to it. It's not eternal, but it's a creation. But that's why it's talked about like that. It's like a permanent thing. Like, this coin, if I were to bury it in my backyard, come back in 100 years, it would look basically the same. Might need to clean it up a little bit, but it would look like this. Nothing happens to it. It won't corrode. It won't rust. It won't deform. It'll just look like this in 100 years. In 1,000 years, it'll look like this. That is a pretty cool property. It's also, it's used in all kinds of very helpful items. You have a little bit of gold in your cell phone, for example, because of the properties that it has. And so this is a valuable thing subjectively, but also because of its properties. It's an actual thing that's useful. I also happen to think it's very beautiful. Lots of people do. In fact, people have thought gold has been beautiful for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, and I don't think it's likely to change. So, anyway, all I'm saying is that you need to understand that this stuff, they are devaluing this, and whether you want to say it's a conspiracy theory or not, they're doing it intentionally, right? They're doing it intentionally, and whatever you think the reason why, they're not stupid. Whenever they do something that devalues this stuff, they know it's going to devalue this stuff. That's the point, right? That's the point. And so you need to protect yourself, because if you're just saving and holding these things, you're in trouble, because these things are going to be looked at like this at some point in the future. At some point in the future. I don't know, guys. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm not a financial advisor, of course, but I would think that if you knew your money would be valuable, much less valuable later, you're going to have to find something to protect yourself from that. I personally like gold. The problem with gold is that you've got to figure out how to hold it, right? So, I've got different ways that I hold it. Vaults, different kinds of areas, in the market and stuff like that. I'm obviously holding this myself right now, obviously, and I'm going to go put this back in the safe place after I hang up the video. But I've got vaulted gold. I've got, and I've got vaulted gold in other countries, potentially, maybe. I don't know. I'm not going to talk too much about it. I've had gold that's fallen off the boat and it's gone forever, like that kind of stuff, right? So it's more complicated than having a bank account, necessarily. And this is what the Bitcoin people are trying to do, too. They're trying to store value in their Bitcoin. And again, I understand what they're doing. I get it, but I don't own any Bitcoin, and we'll talk about that some other time, maybe. But that's what they're doing. Like they see the problems with this, and they think that Bitcoin is a way to protect themselves from the problems with this. And I understand that, and I think that's a smart idea. So let me all that to say, let me stop there. I'll share that Bitcoin video. Now, keep in mind, as I share this video, that I'm not a Bitcoiner. I don't recommend Bitcoin. I don't hold Bitcoin. And so keep that in mind. But the content is actually really good. In any case, I hope you found this video helpful. God bless.